Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Roots. I just realized that I have not been back since my big birthday party, my 65th birthday party in Las Vegas on Sunday night. I've not been back on the air. I shared some of the photos. I shared some of the amazing achievements on my America Speaks TV show yesterday because I did that show, but I just did not do. It was my birthday yesterday. Yesterday was actually July 20th, Monday, my birthday. So I decided to take the day off, and then I decided to do the America Speaks TV show to maintain continuity, but I didn't do the podcast. So this is my first day back to my podcast audience since the birthday party, which every single person that attended said was the best party they've ever been to in their entire lives. Everyone. We had 5 of the best entertainers in Las Vegas. The event began with a guy, Gary Anthony, who's the greatest Frank Sinatra performer in the world, gets paid, buku bucks at major corporate and convention and conferences all over the world to sing Frank Sinatra. He looks like him. He sings like him. He's amazing. And he opened my event with My Way and New York, New York, and the crowd was just blown away. And then in between, some of the best singers in all of Las Vegas, including the greatest opera duet you've ever heard in your entire life that wasn't like Pavarotti himself. And then the event ended. It ended with Marilyn Monroe lookalike singing Happy Birthday to me like Marilyn Monroe sang it to John F. Kennedy in 1961 or something like that. So it was just this incredible event. I gave a speech honoring a lot of the people that were in the room. I have the most eclectic group of friends you've ever seen. Very important people with very amazing bios. And everybody was just blown away. All of them said, by the way, best music, best party ever, best food ever at Piero's, but then they said the best speech ever was mine. It was the highlight of the whole event, was my speech about my life and how I got to where I am today, how I went from a nobody living in my mommy and daddy's bedroom in their house, the son of a butcher living in a middle-class house in Mount Vernon, New York, and how I went from there to wanting to be the new Jimmy the Greek and then becoming Jimmy the Greek's TV partner on national TV, and then Jimmy gets fired and I become the guy, and then I wind up hosting 5 shows on TV, and then I create 3 reality TV show hits, monster hits, and then I get Newsmax TV. I want to become the next Bill O'Reilly, and I wind up with Bill O'Reilly 3 times a week opening my show. So my goal in life was to be Jimmy the Greek in America out of 3 to 30 million people, and I became Jimmy the Greek's partner on TV and replaced him, and my goal was to be the next Bill O'Reilly, and I got to be Bill O'Reilly's partner on TV, and then Bill O'Reilly left, and I replaced him. And so I told some stories that people were just shocked, and quite a few of them, very successful people, said, you should make that into a book, Wayne, because that's the greatest story I've ever heard in my life. It just proves anything is possible in America. Greatest country in the world, anything is possible. God bless America. Only in America, I've lived a fairy tale. My story is fairy tale after fairy tale after fairy tale. Yet none of it was luck. It all happened because God helps those who help themselves. And I work my ass off 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hardest working man in politics, hardest working man in the media, hardest working man in showbiz. And so there are no mistakes. It's just there's a lot of failures. You got to overcome them. A lot of rejection. You got to overcome it. You got to stay positive. Got to stay in command. Got to still believe in your dream and your goal and your belief. It's got to stay strong despite all the losers out there trying to tell you it's never going to happen. And it always happens. And then I told the crowd, my new goal, first it was Jimmy the Greek, and I made it happen. Then it was Bill O'Reilly. And now my goal is to be Colonel Sanders. Everybody laughed. I said, no, don't laugh. I'm being serious. Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken is my goal. He became a multimillionaire at the age of 65, the exact age I am now. All his success and money in life came beyond age 65. And I think all my best years are ahead of me. So I want to be the new Colonel Sanders. All right. And then really the highlight of the night, I said it was the food. And then I said it was the company, the most incredible special people, some of whom flied in from all over the United States. And then I said it was my speech. And then I said it was the singers. And you know what I left out? The real highlight of the evening was a letter from President Donald J. Trump to Wayne Allyn Root to be read to the crowd. He specifically wanted it to be read to the crowd. And I'll read it to you right now. I don't have it in front of me because Andrew Paul, my president of my company, took it with him yesterday to have it framed. He's getting it framed, so I don't have the actual letter in front of me, but I copied it on my screen, on my cell phone. So it's from the White House, and it says, "Dear Wayne, I am so pleased to join your beautiful family and many friends and wish you a wonderful 65th birthday. You represent the very best of our great country. It is fitting that your special day coincides with another momentous occasion, the 40th anniversary of your legendary broadcasting career. Over the past 4 decades, you have brilliantly and articulately inspired millions of Americans to embrace and defend the values upon which our nation was founded: faith, family, community, country first. The contributions you have made to the America First movement cannot be overstated. You have remained by my side from the very start of my political journey, and I'm very grateful. You are a true patriot in every sense of the word. Keep up the great work. Melania joins me in sending our best wishes for your continued health and happiness over the coming year. May God bless you. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump," and signed, and then a hand note, "P.S. You are great!" Exclamation point, Donald J. Trump. So a beautiful gesture by the President of the United States. And then, believe it or not, you know you're successful and your achievements are amazing when the Democrat mayor of Las Vegas tells you July 20th, 2026, my birthday is Wayne Root Day in the city of Las Vegas. And that's the third time I've been honored with Wayne Root Day in the city of Las Vegas. Thank you, Mayor Shelley Berkeley, a Democrat, but always kind of a fan of mine. She thinks I'm kind of cute and likes me. She thinks my Republican politics are kind of cute. And so thank you, Shelley Berkeley. And then a beautiful letter from the state of Nevada, from the office of the Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony, celebrating my 65th birthday, celebrating 4 decades, 40th anniversary of my TV career and 4 decades on TV. And also celebrating me, always an ambassador for the city of Las Vegas. And then a beautiful proclamation. You're not going to believe this one. If you thought the mayor, the Democrat mayor giving me Wayne Root Day was amazing, here's a proclamation from the County Commission of Clark County, which is Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas is Clark County, and these are the commissioners. 6 of the 7 are really ultra left, and I can't stand them. But one of them is April Becker, who's a wonderful gal and a Republican and a great candidate, and probably headed to much higher office in the future. And April made sure she got everyone together and got me this proclamation again, thanking me for being an ambassador to Las Vegas and 40 years, 65 years of birth and 40 years on TV. It's not 4 decades, by the way. It's 5 decades on TV, 40 years. But I started in 85, 86. I think it's really 41 years, but I started in 85, technically. My first big show was in 86. But let's just take 85. So that's a decade of the 80s. 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020. So 5 decades on TV, even though it's 40 years. And I'm headed for literally my 6th decade of TV in 2030. In 2030, a little less than 4 years from now. And then also another beautiful proclamation by the Republican National Committee. Joe Gruder is the chairman. Happy 61st birthday. I hope you're spending it with family and taking a moment to enjoy everything that you've built. For 4 decades, you've been a force in American broadcasting and one of the most fearless conservative voices in the country, telling the truth straight and never backing down from the fight for freedom. Thank you for everything you've done for President Trump, the conservative movement, and MAGA. You stood with the president early and never wavered, and you've spent your career making the case directly to the average American. What I admire most is that you never lose sight of who you're fighting for. On America Speaks, you don't just talk at people, you hand them the microphone and let everyday Americans be heard. That's the spirit powering the great American comeback. Here's to many more years of raw, unfiltered truth-telling. May God bless you, your family, and the United States of America. With appreciation and best wishes, Joe Gruters, Chairman, Republican National Committee. So, quite a party and quite a lot of beautiful people and special people and accomplished people saying wonderful things about me. I appreciate it. And I'm not bragging, but I deserve it. I deserve every bit of it. It's been 65 amazing years for a kid who was born the son of a butcher in Mount Vernon, New York, on the Bronx borderline. What I've achieved is impossible, and the hate liberals have for me is pretty close to the hate they have for President Donald J. Trump, and the death threats and the people who want to destroy me and the people who want to make fun of me for a guy who's done a pretty good job in life. I don't know why they'd want to destroy me. except that I tell the truth, except that I threaten them and scare them because I tell the truth, and nobody tells the truth like me. Let me give you a perfect example. I'm about to write a commentary. Now, here's my guy, President Trump, not only wrote that beautiful letter in the middle of the Iran war celebrating Wayne Root. I had time to celebrate Wayne Root. And at the Christmas party at the White House, introduced me to the amazing crowd at the Christmas party to say, this guy is amazing. He's a powerhouse in the media, and he's never wasted a minute saying something bad about me. Well, I'm gonna disagree with him now. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. I would never say anything bad about him. I actually had a caller on America Speaks last week say, you're always with the president. It's a lie. I was against him on the vaccines. I'm against him on 600,000 Chinese students in China. I'm against him. He should have released the entire Epstein files. There's lots of times where I'm against the president, but 95% plus, I'm with him, and he's the greatest ever. And if a guy's with you 95%, boy, are you on the same team. Doesn't mean I can't disagree. He just encouraged and endorsed Darlene Graham, as in Lindsey Graham's sister, to be the next United States Senator from South Carolina. No, not the fill-in senator for the last 6 months of his term, but the permanent to run and serve a 6-year term as a U.S. Senator. And I'm about to write a commentary. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. First of all, let me be bold enough to say a bunch of things that no one else will say. I didn't see one person in America saying any of this. And it's all true and it's all common sense, and I'm right again. Number one, Lindsey Graham may very well have died from the COVID vaccine, and nobody wants to talk about it. Not one person in America is mentioning that the exact cardiac thing that he died of, which was a cardiac arrest, cardiac heart attack, and his cord literally just severing, ripping apart, and exploding. All of it are known side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine. So this guy probably died from the COVID vaccine, and you're going to say, well, how do you know he got the COVID vaccine? Because he bragged about it on TV and bragged about it in writing and told everyone, you got to go get it. It's the greatest thing ever, and encouraged everyone to get the vaccine, and then did a video of him taking the vaccine with his doctor. So he took the COVID vaccine. I'm sure he took every booster known to man, and then his heart exploded. So that's the first thing no one wants to talk about. Number two, everyone knows. Shh, don't talk about it. Everyone knows Lindsey Graham was gay. Everyone knows. No one will mention that. It's bad enough that when a man dies in office who's straight, they immediately try and replace him with his wife as if that's qualification for being a U.S. senator or a U.S. congressman, is a wife who's been a housewife her whole life, but because she's got the same last name, she should replace him. I think that's outrageous, and I'm not being sexist, because I don't think if a woman dies in office, her husband should replace her, unless he's a superstar. If your husband is a lawyer, if your husband is a billionaire businessman, if your husband is the owner of the New York Jets, okay, maybe he could be the next U.S. senator. But if your husband is a house husband, he's not qualified to be a U.S. senator. If your husband has an average job but he's a social worker, he's not qualified to be exactly what we're talking about. So Darlene Graham, now because you have a gay man who died, he has no wife and no children. He's been gay his whole life. He has no one. So now you're replacing gay men with their sisters. Am I crazy, or is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard? A gay man dies in office. A gay Democrat died in office. What would MAGA Republicans be saying about him being replaced by his sister because he has no wife, no husband, no children? So it's his sister. Is that not the dumbest thing you've ever heard? Then the third thing is, just forget that he's gay. No one should be replaced by their sister. You don't own the seat. This isn't England. This is not about royalty. The Lindsey Graham family doesn't own his Senate seat, so the next person in line is automatically a Graham? Didn't we have an American Revolution to get away from nepotism? This is DEI. This is DEI at its worst. This is nepotism at its worst. She has no qualifications. And then the most important thing is, the only thing she's ever done in her life besides be Lindsey Graham's sister is she's a social worker who finds jobs for the disabled. Nice thing. Very nice. Wayne Root's not attacking the disabled. I think that's a wonderful thing. But a person who finds jobs for blind people and one-legged people is not qualified to be a United States senator. And almost every social worker I've ever seen in my life, and everyone I've ever met in my life, is a bleeding heart liberal. I've never met a social worker who's a MAGA conservative. Has anyone asked what she believes in? Anybody in the whole world ever asked what this woman believes in? Is she 100% MAGA? And then last, Everyone's making believe because he died. They're only saying nice things about him. They're making believe he was some great senator, and therefore the greatest Republican ever, the greatest MAGA ever. Lindsey Graham died, so now we need a sister. Lindsey Graham was a rhino. Lindsey Graham's rating with Heritage Scorecard, which is always 100% accurate. He had I think it was, I didn't look in the last few days. I looked a week ago. I think his lifetime score is 52%. He votes with Democrats 48% of the time. He might as well be a Democrat. He might as well be an independent, but he sure ain't MAGA. He doesn't vote with us. Barely 50%. John Fetterman's probably more of a Republican than this guy was. The only thing he was on our side with was Israel. That's it. And half the Republicans I know don't even support Israel anymore, sadly. So I don't know what the need is to have a transition from Graham to the Graham family forevermore. Let that Senate seat be inherited by a Graham. Because you're gay, it deserves to be your sister. Is everybody crazy? So Donald Trump, I love you. I'll always love you. I think you're the greatest. Your achievements are amazing. But boy, do I disagree with you on this one. Let the people of South Carolina decide, not Wayne Root, not Donald Trump. Let her run. It's fine. She shouldn't have been appointed to fill his seat, but let her run. And I hope she gets smashed. Hope she gets completely demolished. I hope they elect someone who's a real conservative, because we've already seen what happens when you let people in the U.S. Senate get elected with an R next to their name. Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Tom Tillis, Mitch McConnell. The list goes on and on. John Thune, the Senate leader. They all stab Trump in the back. They all hate Trump. They do nothing for Trump. They're working for the deep state. How do you know what this social worker believes in? And I left out one more. She's a lifetime government employee. She's never done anything in her life on the private sector. She's never created a job. She's worked for government as a social worker her entire life for government agencies. She's been the head of an agency for the disabled and the head of this agency, the head of that agency, and on this commission and on that board of directors for all government organizations. Does that sound like a Republican conservative MAGA to you? So I disagree completely. This is a horrible mistake. She'll get elected and she'll turn out to be a rhino. We see it again and again with these senators, and you see it again and again with Supreme Court judges. Oh, I'm so conservative. And then you elect them and, I'm a liberal. They're liars and frauds. She's a social worker. She's Lindsey Graham's sister, not just anyone. She's the sister of a rhino who voted 52% with us. Now you're holding your fingers? I pray that she's going to be 90%, unlike Lindsey, who's 52%. How stupid. She's a pro-government, big brother, work for government, get government checks her whole life, rhino, social worker, bleeding heart, who you think is going to be the greatest greatest MAGA senator ever when her brother wasn't? You really believe that? You're all living in a dream world, and President Trump is wrong on this issue, just as he's been wrong with many endorsements. He's right on everything else, but his endorsement record sucks. And so I don't agree with him, and I will not support it, and I will write a story about it, and I will campaign against her. This is ridiculous. Now we're electing sisters of gay men to office because they're the sister of the gay man who had no one else to leave a seat to. Boy, have we fallen down as a country. That's all I could tell you. And President Trump wonders why all he does is get stabbed in the back by senators. Because you're setting yourself up for another one. She's a Bill Barr. She's another Jeff Sessions. She's a backstabber. Does a social worker sound like the guy or gal you want in a Senate seat? Are you kidding me? I mean, this is like a joke. Her life bleeds. Her heart bleeds for the poor. I guarantee you, she will never be a MAGA senator. She will vote for every government program known to man. Never vote no on a government program because she's government. Same reason judges are all against you, Trump. Not because they're conservative, not because they're liberal or Democrat, because all judges are in the same club. It's called we've been in government our whole lives, and our check is written by government, and we belong to a government union, and so screw President Trump. That's why judges rule against you, because it's government against the people. She's government. She's not an outsider. She's government, a government social worker. It's that government mentality. So what a mistake putting her in for 5 minutes, let alone 5 or 6 months, let alone 6 years. Ridiculous. So I'm against it, and I will write up against it, and I will still love President Trump, and I will still support President Trump, and I still appreciate everything he does, and I still think he's the greatest president ever, but I can choose to disagree when I need to. I'm a human being, and I have my own beliefs, and I'll bet you everyone watching agrees with me, because I've read the tea leaves, I've looked online where I wrote this, and almost everyone's on my team. Someone looked at every single one of them and took a record and said 80% are with you, Wayne. 80% of Republicans agree with you. Lindsey Graham's sister should not be in that seat. All right, that's it for this segment. Going to a break. Great guest coming up when we get back. See you in a sec.